My dear students, as you all know, in these non-teaching days, GPC faculty is putting efforts to provide online lectures to their students. So in this presentation, I'll discuss about portfolio diversification and modern portfolio theory. In the last presentation, we talked about portfolio risk and return. So in this presentation, we move on to the topics portfolio diversification, portfolio theory, Markowitz model, efficient portfolio, and optimum portfolio. What is portfolio diversification? It means combining securities into a portfolio in such a way so as to reduce portfolio risk without sacrificing the return. The rationale behind this technique contends that a portfolio of different kinds of investments will on an average yield higher returns and pose a lower risk than any individual investment found within the portfolio. So this is about portfolio diversification. Combination of securities in the portfolio can be made in many ways, and in general there are three main practices. Spread your portfolio among multiple investment vehicles such as cash, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and even some real estate. See the risk in your securities. You are not restricted to choose only blue chip stocks. In fact, it would be wise to pick investments with varied risk levels. That will ensure that large losses are offset by other areas. Vary your securities by industry. This will minimize the impact of industry specific risks. So these are the different ways for combining securities. As we all know, there are two types of risk: systematic and unsystematic risk. Systematic risk refers to market risk, which is common to all the securities and all the companies. This portion of risk cannot be diversified away. For example, interest rate risk, recession and wars, etc. Unsystematic risk or specific risk is specific to individual stocks, and it can be diversified away as we increase the number of stocks in our portfolio. We can see it in the diagram on the next slide. In the diagram, we can see we have taken number of stocks on the x-axis and we have taken risk on the y-axis. My dear students, you can see in this diagram, as we increase the number of stocks in the portfolio, the unsystematic portion of risk is reduced, but the systematic portion of risk, which is market risk, it will remain constant whether the stocks in the portfolio are increased or not. So we can say that we can only diversify the unsystematic portion of risk, which is unique or common to unique to a company specific. Then what are the merits of diversification? First is reduction in the risk, as we have already discussed. Second is asset choices. Maintaining holdings in different areas or sectors help to create a stable portfolio that will increase in the value over the long term. Diversification also makes it easy for the investors to protect their capital, allocating money to different investments. Also, a well diversified portfolio is more stable. Once investor has investment settled into wide variety of stocks and securities, he or she can remain there for extended periods without requiring a lot of maintenance. So well diversified portfolio needs lower maintenance and care. These all are the merits of diversification. Let us discuss now. There are two types of diversification. First is simple or naive diversification. It means adding more and more securities in the portfolio is called simple or naive diversification. Traditional theorists believed in simple or naive diversification, but Markowitz diversification strategy primarily focuses on degree of correlation between asset returns in the portfolio rather than simply investing in large number of securities. As per Markowitz, an investor can reduce portfolio risk by holding the instruments which are not perfectly correlated. So Markowitz diversification believes in correlation between the securities. What is modern portfolio theory? Modern portfolio theory was introduced by Harry Markowitz in 1952 in his paper Portfolio Selection, which was published in Journal of Finance. After 38 years, he shared a Nobel Prize with Merton Miller and William William Sharpe for his theory on portfolio selection. Prior to Markowitz's work, investors used to focus on assessing the risk and reward of individual securities in constructing their portfolios. But Markowitz proposed that investors should focus on selecting the portfolios based upon their overall risk reward characteristics instead of merely compiling the portfolios from the securities which individually have attractive risk reward characteristics. So according to Markowitz, what is important, that is the risk and reward from the portfolio, not from the individual securities. According to him, out of the entire universe of possible portfolios, certain one will optimally balance risk and reward. He called these an efficient frontier of portfolios. Before coming to the Markowitz model, let us discuss the goals and assumptions of portfolio theory given by Harry Markowitz. What are the assumptions of this model? The first assumption is regarding risk and reward. The model assumes that investors are risk averse. Mean and variance means expected return and risk matter to the investor. All the investors have same expectations regarding expected return, risk and covariance for the risky securities. And also all the investors have common one period investment horizon. So all these are assumptions of modern portfolio theory given by Harry Markowitz. Now we are moving on to construction of Markowitz's efficient frontier and efficient portfolio, means the steps which are given by Harry Markowitz in order to design an optimum portfolio. There are 3 steps in construction of Markowitz's efficient portfolios or efficient frontier. The first step is feasible set of portfolios, second is efficient frontier, and third is optimum portfolio. Markowitz focused that firstly investors should identify a feasible set of portfolio by combining the number of securities in different proportions. From that feasible set, investor can find efficient set of portfolios, also called efficient frontier, and from the efficient frontier, using investors risk return preferences, utility curves, we can create optimum portfolio. The first step is feasible set of portfolios. Feasible set of portfolios are all the portfolios which an investor can create by combining a number of securities in different proportions. Let us take the example of stock C and D. We are given both expected return and risk from these securities, and we assume that coefficient of correlation between stock C and D is equal to minus 0.5. So we can create 5 different set of portfolios by combining the stock C and D in different proportions, and we will calculate the portfolio expected return and risk in all these 5 different portfolios according to the formula we have discussed in our previous presentation on portfolio return and risk. When we'll show the same on a diagram, we'll see that we'll take risk on the x-axis and return on y-axis, and we can show all these feasible set of portfolios in a diagram. Efficient set of portfolios consist of those portfolios in the feasible set which either give the highest return for a given level of risk or have the lowest risk for a given level of return. The set of all such efficient portfolios is called efficient frontier, and they dominate all other investment opportunities that lie on the upper part of feasible set curve, as shown in the figure in the previous slide from point 2 to 5 of the curve. Efficient portfolios are also called the dominant portfolios because they dominate all the other portfolios. As we see in this diagram, that the curve BC, that is called efficient frontier because all the portfolios that are lying on efficient frontier are dominating all the other portfolios. For example, if we compare portfolio A and B, we can see both the portfolios are at giving same risk, but portfolio B is giving higher expected returns as compared to portfolio A, and we can see that portfolio B lies on efficient frontier. And similarly, if we compare portfolio E and F, both are giving similar returns, but portfolio E has less risk as compared to portfolio F. Again, portfolio E lies on efficient frontier. So we can see that if we create portfolios lying on efficient frontier, we can reduce the risk at a given level of return, or we can get higher return at a given level of risk. The third step involves identifying from the efficient portfolios the best portfolio called the optimum portfolio. The particular portfolio that investor will select from the efficient frontier will depend upon investors' degree of aversion of risk and investors' preferences, which is graphically represented through a series of indifference curves. The optimum portfolio for the investor would be the point of tangency between efficient frontier and his risk reward indifference curve. In the figure on the next slide, two investors P and Q confronted with a similar efficient frontier but have different return because portfolio P, in case of this diagram, as we see that efficient frontier is tangent to indifference curve IP2, and the portfolios that will be tangent to the IP2 is tangent to efficient frontier will be the optimum portfolio, and it will give higher return at a similar level of risk, or it will be giving less risk at a higher level of return. So optimum portfolio is selected by the investor by seeing that the portfolio lying on efficient frontier, which will be tangent to indifference curve, will be the optimum portfolio. So in this diagram, the optimum portfolio for investor P will be the P, and optimum portfolio for investor Q will be the Q portfolio lying on efficient frontier. What are the limitations of Markowitz model? We can see that large number of input data is required in order to implement this model. Computations are quite complex and large in number, and we cannot take variance in all the circumstances as a measure of risk, and practical obstacles also restrict the usage of this model. So this